So just coming down to there, making yourself nice and comfy. If you're a little bit chilly, then you can always cover yourself with a blanket now. If you need props now, then that's okay. And even if you need that little bit of stretch and move out in any kind of way before you feel that you can settle. So you just need to do any kind of stretching out, any kind of movement. Doesn't have to have a asana name. And then when you feel ready to, just pressing play if you're using music and you haven't already. And then settling yourself into some stillness. Gently closing the eyes if you haven't closed the eyes already. Or perhaps you just fix your gaze somewhere. So if closing the eyes doesn't feel too comfy, that's okay. And taking a nice big inhale. And exhale. Just taking in and out a couple of bigger, deeper breaths. So ones that you feel you're more in control of or you're controlling. So maybe it's an inhale through the nose. And exhaling out of the mouth. And then eventually settling into that natural rhythm of breath. Just noticing how your body feels, your physical body. Noticing how your breath feels. Perhaps where you can feel the breath. And then checking in with your mind. So just to check in of how you feel this morning. Don't have to delve too deeply or get too attached to that. But knowing that however you feel, however you came to your practice is absolutely fine. And then drawing our attention back to our breath, so the anchor of your practice, your breath. Perhaps just resting the hands on the low belly, so a nice soft placement of the hands. And as you breathe this natural breath, just feeling that soft rise and fall of the low belly. And your breath might change throughout your practice, and in fact it almost certainly will change throughout your practice. But always coming back to that slow and steady breath. So if you notice kind of you're gasping for air or your breath is really sped up, then you know that's okay. But how can we come back to that calming breath? So maybe it's to take a rest, maybe it's to just step back out of an asana a little bit. If the mind drifts away, then using the breath to draw us back into the practice. If we start to think about the rest of the day, last week, whatever that might be. And to keep us grounded, keep us steady. Bend the knees and place the soles of the feet onto the earth. So remembering throughout the practice, I'm just going to guide you that you do what you feel is right for your body this morning. So you are definitely your own best guide. And with the feet just gently down onto the earth, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky, just stretching through the fingers, then clenching into fists, rolling through the wrists in both directions, just warming up through the hands, the wrists. And then dropping the arms down by the side of the body, letting the knees drop in towards you, extending the toes towards the sky. You can still have a heavy bend in the knees. Just wiggling out through the toes, maybe widening through the gaps in the toes, then kind of, what would toe fists be? Clenching to make toe fists. And then going through the ankle joints there, so just in both directions. Keeping the toes up towards the sky, reach the fingertips back up and have that dead bug posture. So we're just shaking out through the arms, through the legs, getting the energy flowing through the body. As you exhale, just drop in the feet, the hands down towards the ground. Having the feet about hip distance apart, we've got a nice press down through the feet. So we're keeping the lower body nice and strong. Just gently placing the palms down onto the earth beside us. Let's start to warm through the spine, press down through the feet. As we inhale, just pressing up into a low bridge. So we don't have to go kind of to the extreme. As we exhale, gently coming all the way back down towards the ground, so bit by bit through the spine. Taking another inhale, press down through the feet, keep the knees strong, maybe a little squeeze of the bum cheeks and lift a little bit higher. Exhale to come all the way back down. One more like that, inhale. Pressing down to lift up, chin comes to chest. Let's just hold it there for a couple of breaths. So you're completely in control. This could just be a really low bridge. It could even just be a pelvic tilt if that's what you feel like this morning. Taking an inhale. As you exhale, slowly guide yourself back down towards the ground. Step the feet out wide, let the knees knock in, and let the arms just come out that little bit wider, gently taking the knees from side to side. So just dropping them from one side over to the opposite side. Perhaps you linger on one side if that feels nice. And then on the other side. And let's roll all the way over then onto whichever side feels nicer to you. Just resting on the side of the body for a moment with the eyes closed. That slow, steady breath. Pressing down through the hands, through the forearm, gently pushing ourselves all the way up. And finding Sukhasana or similar, so a seated cross leg position or extended leg, straddle, whatever you feel comfy with. If you need to, then place something under the seat just to lift the seat, drop the pelvis forward. Nice tall spine, so think of kind of zipping up through the spine, the back of the neck. Soft face, soft shoulders, a little bit of softness to the belly. Let's bring the hands into prayer at heart center. Take an inhale, sweep the prayer up towards the sky. As we exhale, sweep out nice and wide. Inhale, join that prayer back up above our head. Exhale, bring the hands down to the heart space. We're going to take two more like that. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, wide. Inhale. And exhale, just that last one in your own full breath. Just holding the hands there at the heart center for a couple of deep breaths. So you can be breathing through nose or mouth. I'd recommend to inhale through the nose if you can. You could breathe out through the mouth. Let's take an inhale, lift that prayer all the way back up. As we exhale, open to the right hand side. So right fingertips behind, left hand on the right knee, thigh, doesn't really matter too much. Take an inhale, lift through the spine, the back of the neck. As you exhale, draw that right shoulder back. So keeping the chest nice and open, keeping the spine tall. That back hand is kind of a prop hand rather than a lean hand. So you can always use a block if you need to. Bringing the head and the gaze round first. As we inhale, let's sweep the hands back up into a prayer. And as we exhale, over to that opposite side, left hand side. So settle yourself into that position. Then take an inhale and an exhale. Just a tiny bit of turn, almost just a drawing back with that left shoulder. And the neck can go wherever. So if I turn my neck forwards to you, it doesn't bring me out of the twist. So I don't need to kind of drag my neck behind. As we inhale, let's sweep back to center, lift the hands into that prayer. As we exhale, bring the left hand down, sweep the right fingertips up and over to that left side, so taking our lateral stretch. Keeping that right knee pressed down towards the earth, but you can adjust in any way you wish here. So you could slide that left hand further across, but keep drawing that right shoulder back. So we're not kind of curving, collapsing forwards, we're nice and open. Use a block under the left hand. Steady breath. Press through the left hand as we inhale. Let's come back up to center. Join the hands in a prayer. As we exhale, right hand down, left lifting up and over. And remembering to actively draw that left shoulder back. So we're opening up through the armpit, through the left side of the body. Again, the gaze can lift, but the gaze could equally lower. So whatever is important for your neck to be kept nice and safe. Press down through that right hand. Let's take an inhale, sweeping all the way back up, hands meet in prayer. As we exhale, just draw them to the heart space, close the eyes, and feel the shoulders soften. The jaw relax. If we're clenching teeth or pushing the tongue against the side or roof of the mouth, maybe just gently part the lips. Just coming back to that slow flow of breath. Then inhale that little bit of rise. And as we exhale, just that softness. And in the way that's best for you, blinking the eyes open, finding your way into your tabletop position. So you could roll over the knees, you could just drop to the side, spreading the fingers. So having shoulders over the wrists, or maybe just a little bit behind if you've got sensitive wrists and it feels too much to have that push forward. Hips and knees in line, tops of the feet pressed down onto the earth. Take a push through the hands, just lift up through the body, draw the shoulders back. So we want to feel like this is quite a nice active place to be in. Then as we inhale, tailbone lifts up towards the sky, heart space shines forward, shoulders draw back. As you exhale, push the earth away again, tailbone rounds under, chin comes to chest. So taking a few more like that, just in your own breath. So enjoying that linking of movement to breath. We've got this up and down movement. So moving through the spine, up and down. And then anything else that might kind of take your fancy as a bit of movement. So sometimes it's nice to take some circles. So we'll go over to the left or right hand side, sit the seat to the heels, go over to the opposite side and come back up towards the wrists. You could do a figure of 8 in that as well. So very similar thing. You go over to the opposite seat, the opposite heel, come around, come all the way back up. Like we're drawing an 8. Or it could just be a little bit of side to side motion. So trying to link it with the breath, but really getting the body nice and warm. And let's come back to a nice strong tabletop position. So we're not pushing the shoulders forwards and collapsing the neck, we're drawing back. Let's tuck the toes onto the ground, slide the right toes away, keeping our hips in line to keep our shoulders in line. Lifting the toes away from the earth, point the toes back behind you, take an inhale. As you exhale, bring the knee and the nose together so we're rounding through the spine. Inhale, take the toes away. You could lift the chest slightly. Exhale, bring in the knee and the nose back in. One more, inhale. So reaching away, keeping the hips in line. Exhale. And then drop that knee down to the earth. Left toes slide away. Press through the hands, so nice equal press in both hands. We're not kind of sliding onto one side. Lift the toes away from the earth, point them away. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, drawing knee and nose together. Inhale, toes go away. Maybe the heart space lifts. Exhale, rounding back in. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale. And dropping the knee down towards the ground. Keep the fingers spread, tuck both toes onto the earth, push the seat to the heels, hands stay where they are. As we inhale, we lift the knees, so feel that start to work through the thighs. As you exhale, push the seat back and up, let the head become heavy. Our first downward facing dog. So maybe that was my uncle if you heard that. Maybe have a little bit of movement through this, but again, just you decide what will be best for you, or more like your body decides. So you might just want to push into downward dog, be still, close the eyes, or you might need that stretch out. So always being responsive. Steadying the breath as we find stillness, seat pushed high. Nice and slowly start to travel the body forward, so like we're coming towards a plank. Drop the left knee to the earth, step that right foot through. And relax the left toes, so right knee over ankle, right toes spread. Pressing down through that foot, next inhale, lifting into our low lunge position. Just softening the shoulders as you exhale. Time to steady the breath there. Let's take an inhale, reach through the side of the body. Then as we exhale, open to the right hand side. So the right fingertips go behind the left, come forward. Nice and active through the fingers. Keeping that inside edge of the right foot pressed down to the mat. As we inhale, sweeping back to that central position. As we exhale, planting the hands down onto the mat. Press that left hand down, shoulder and wrist in line. Then as we inhale, turning to the right, sweeping the right fingertips up towards the sky. So really feeling that push down to lift up. Take an inhale. As you exhale, sweep that right hand down, plant both hands to the earth, spread the fingers, tuck the back toes, lift that knee, stride back into a plank position, or if you prefer a modified variation, so we're dropping the knees down, drawing the shoulders back. Breathe in there. Take an inhale. As you exhale, leading yourself down to the ground in your preferred variation. As you inhale, open the heart space, could be baby cobra, might be an upward dog. As you exhale, tuck the toes, push the seat to the heels. Take that inhale, lifting the knees. Exhale, lifting the seat, finding yourself back in downward dog. So we're going to take a couple of breaths there. If you prefer, you could always be in a strong tabletop position. If you need a rest, of course, you could have a child's pose. Starting to inhale, move the body forwards. As we exhale, drop that right knee down, step the left foot through. So finding the position that works for you there, nice strong through that left leg. When you're ready, as you inhale, sweep up. As you exhale, soften the shoulders. Take an inhale, reach through the side of the body. As you exhale, sweep to the left-hand side, taking our twist. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, plant the hands down. Right hand stays down on the earth. As we inhale, lift the left fingertips to the sky. Trying to keep that left knee in towards the body if we can. Inhale. Exhale, closing the body back down towards the top of the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift that knee. Stepping back, finding your plank or your variation. So if the knees are dropped in your plank, then we want to make sure the hips are ahead of the knees. Shoulders drawn back. Take an inhale. As you exhale, coming down towards the ground. Press through the hands and the feet as you inhale, lifting into your back bend. Tuck the toes. As you exhale, push the seat towards the heels and just stay nice and low there. So we're reaching the arms forwards. The seat's coming towards the heels, but it's probably not quite touching. Forehead looks towards the earth. Just catching the breath there. Then lifting up slightly, taking the knees out nice and wide, slide the big toes to touch. This time push the seat back so it does make contact with the heels if you can. Letting the forehead drop towards the earth, but remember, use a prop. So get yourself nice and comfy in your child's pose. We're going to take 1 minute of rest here. So just allowing this sense of softness to come back over the whole of the body. Letting the face be soft, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the fingertips. Heaviness of the seat to the heels. Returning to that slow and steady breath. And you're of course welcome to stay there for a couple more breaths. It is a really nice asana, probably one of my top 5. Or nice and slowly drawing yourself up into your tabletop position. So as we inhale, just pulling the earth, lifting up, realigning the body. Tucking the toes, push the seat back to the heels. Nice and slowly take that lift into downward dog. We're not staying there. Gently start to move the body forward, so shoulders come towards the wrists, giving you that space to then step or walk the toes to the backs of the wrists, feet hip distance apart. As you inhale, travel up into your halfway lift. So that could be fingertips to the earth, it could be hands on shins, knees, thighs. Nice flat back, draw the shoulders back. Breathe in there so it feels active. On your next exhale, really soften the knees, fold the body forward, spine round, become passive, head is heavy. So if that doesn't quite work for you, if that makes you feel a little bit queasy, then you can always keep that softness to the knees, just lift the gaze up slightly. If you like that kind of ragdoll position, you could have a sway. You could walk round to one side of the body, to the other side. And then nice and slowly, going to make our way up to a standing position. So press through the feet as you inhale, rolling all the way up. As you exhale, actively roll the shoulders back, open the heart. Maybe a couple of breaths with the eyes open and then closing out the eyes. So making that transfer from down to the earth, halfway, all the way up. How does the body feel now? So do you feel quite steady, quite stable this morning? Maybe there's that soft sway from side to side, so that's a normal response. Finding this strength through lower body, so spreading the toes like we would spread the fingers. Perhaps a little lift and activate of the kneecaps. Almost this little squeeze of the bum cheeks as we kind of turn the tailbone under and activate through the thighs. Growing tall through the spine, soft through the shoulders. Gently blinking the eyes open, bringing the hands into prayer. As we inhale, lift that prayer up to the sky. You could follow and look to the thumbs. As you exhale, sweep the arms wide, bring the hands to the side of the thighs. Inhale, sweeping up, perhaps looking up. Exhale, down to the heart space. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, last one in your own breath. Holding the hands at your heart space. Just moving the feet slightly closer together then. Pressing down through the right foot as we inhale, let's lift the left knee nice and high. So keeping that right inner edge of the foot close to the earth, so you can probably feel that like quiver as it comes onto the outside edge. Take a nice big inhale here. As you exhale, let's come into our warrior 3 position. So gently taking that left foot back, softening right knee, coming forward with the crown of the head. If you need to step the left toes to the earth, then of course that's absolutely fine. If you prefer a different variation with the hands, with the arms, then taking that option. Steady breath. Take an inhale, soften the right knee as we exhale, step that left foot back, turn the toes to the long edge of the mat and spread the arms as we find our warrior 2 position. So we don't have to find it and be like, yep, sorted straight away, we can adjust. Gazing down the right fingertips, bending into that right knee, seeing the right big toe. As we inhale, let's bring the hands up into a prayer. Lengthen through that right leg and turn the toes in. Transfer the hands behind the back. Nice big inhale. Pull the clasp of the hands down towards the ground. As we exhale, soften the knees if we need to. Folding the body forward, lifting that clasp, maybe just back, maybe up and over. So again, you know, you respond what feels right. Do you need to separate the clasp? Can we breathe where we are, hopefully? Pressing down through the feet, softening the knees if we need to. As we inhale, leading with the head first, let's come all the way back up. Release the clasp, turn the toes out, bring the hands back into our prayer position. As we inhale, lifting with the hands to the sky. As we exhale, cactus the arms, bend the knees, come into our goddess position. Inhale, lengthen everything up towards the sky. Exhale, coming down to the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Just holding it there. So rounding the tailbone under here as well. Active fingers, active elbows. You could have a shift from side to side so if it feels more comfortable to have a little bit of movement in it. Let's take an inhale, lifting all the way back up. Turn the toes in. As we exhale, folding forward, reaching the fingertips forwards. And then softening the knees, bringing the hands down towards the ground, walking ourselves around to the short edge of the mat. Plant the hands down, stepping back into our downward facing dog. So if you would like a vinyasa here, then go for it. If not, just settling into downward facing dog. Steady in the breath. Starting to move the body forward, shoulders towards the wrist, step, jump, float, whatever floats your boat forwards. Feet hip distance apart. As you inhale, finding that active halfway position. So you could still have softness in the knees. We don't want to push the kneecap to the back of the knees back too far. Nice active shoulders flat back. Next time you exhale, softening the knees, folding into that passive place or to your variation if that doesn't work for you. So letting the upper body just hang heavy, supported by the lower body. Maybe you're having a little bit of a mooch around the body, a little bit of a sway. Maybe you're just enjoying that stillness. Pressing down through the feet in a way that works for you, starting with an inhale, rolling up through the body. As you exhale, roll the shoulders back. When you feel ready to, so when you've got that balance standing up, just gently closing the eyes. And making those mini adjustments to your body. So we want the lower part of the body, this active strength, this grounding, it's supporting us. But we've got a softness to the shoulders. Nice open chest, open heart space, and a softness to the face. Blinking the eyes open, the hands meet in our prayer position. As we inhale, raise that prayer to the sky. As we exhale, sweep wide, hands down onto the thighs. Inhale, sweep back up, look up if you wish. Exhale, heart space. Inhale. Even be a mini back bend there. Exhale. Inhale, perhaps another mini back bend. Exhale. Last one, just in your own breath. Really get in touch with your breath. Just holding that prayer at heart center. Perhaps shimmying the feet a little bit closer together. Still softening the face and the shoulders, having that confidence, that strength of lower body. This time pressing down through that left foot as we inhale, lifting the right knee nice and high. So there will be perhaps a softness response to that left knee, which is fine. Steady as we exhale, stepping back into our warrior position. So again, if there's a preferred kind of position with the arms for you, then taking that. I've got to be careful because I'm really close to a candle. Taking an inhale, as you exhale, step that right foot down, turn the toes to the long edge, just separating through the arms and having that little shimmy and shuffle with the legs if you need to find comfort in your warrior two. Turning that thigh open to the baby toe side of the left foot. Steadying the breath there. We're always feeling active, so we're not forcing past our edge, but nor are we kind of just hanging out like, yeah, not really feeling much here, but whatevs. You know, we came to practice, so. Let's take an inhale, sweep up, find a prayer, lengthen through that left knee, turn the toes forwards, exchange for a clasp behind the back. Inhale, drawing that clasp down, so drawing the shoulder blades together as we exhale, soft knees if you need it, folding the body forwards. If that really doesn't work for you, like if your shoulders are super tight, then you can always release the clasp. Maybe just play with having the fingertips or the palms down to the ground. You know, there's loads of variations of a wide leg forward fold. So just letting the head relax there. Nice and slowly soften the knees if you need to. Guide the head up first, flat back as you inhale, coming all the way up, releasing that clasp. Turning the toes out. Take an inhale, sweeping the hands up towards the sky. As you exhale, sit into your goddess position, bending the elbows. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, just gazing forward, finding that drishti, holding it there. So we're pressing into the outer edge of the feet, tucking that tailbone under. Let's take an inhale, reach up, turn the toes in. As we exhale, start to fold the body forwards. Reaching the fingertips forward after that halfway point long spine, but the fingertips come down to the ground. And you can have a little play here. So if there is a variation of your wide leg forward fold you like, maybe it's holding the toes, maybe it's walking the hands forward. A nice one is walking the hands back. So turning the fingertips away from you, reaching the hands back behind you. Just taking a couple of breaths to explore. If you've got a safe tripod headstand, then you're welcome to do that. And then as you inhale, just lifting up slightly, being on the fingertips. As you exhale, guiding yourself round to the top of the mat. So coming round into that runner's lunge position. Planting the hands down, stepping into your downward facing dog. If you would like a vinyasa there, then again, you're more than welcome. So it's your practice, whatever feels right for you. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Let's step the feet out to the width of the mat, softening the knees. And slowly walk the hands back in towards us as we sit the seat down in between the heels, finding our Malasana. If you want to, if it's in your practice, hands could come into prayer. Use that to have a lift through the chest and spine. So again, it's an active place. It's not just kind of like, oh, prayer. That's not for you. You could reach the fingertips wide. So we've got the upper arms holding the knees. And you could always gaze down towards the earth. Maybe closing the eyes to bring awareness back to the breath if you feel quite steady in this position. Gently blinking the eyes open, releasing the hands, take them behind you and sit the seat down onto the earth, extending the legs out in front of you, but with a nice softness. If you've got sensitive knees or even hypermobile knees, just cushioning at the back of the knees. And the feet kind of have a mix between, somebody said it earlier, no, was it not earlier, but in a class I've been to, but it's a mixture between kind of are really pressing, where we're kind of pressing away and the toes are pointing away. So there's an element of softness to it, but not complete softness. That really makes no sense. Should just be like, just do what you like with your feet. Taking a nice big inhale, just lifting up through the spine. And as we exhale, spine stays long, bottom of the spine stays long, until the point where perhaps we feel the belly and the thighs meet. And then if you wish, if it feels nice, you could gently round through the upper back. Just relaxing the hands to wherever is a comfortable position for you. So a bit more of a passive fold, or yours might be a bit more active. Just closing the eyes and be guided by your exhale breath. So the inhale breath is this space finding breath. So maybe it's lifting slightly. And the exhale, just this breath of moving into that space, of surrendering, of relaxing. Keeping the mind focused on maybe the breath, or perhaps there's a particular sensation happening in the body right now. Just walking the hands back in towards the body, plant the hands down. We're going to use the hands to help us take a nice gentle lift as we inhale, just lifting the gaze forwards, coming all the way back up, take an exhalation. And then if you need to, grab a sip of your drink if you've got one, and make sure you've got everything around you for your Shavasana that you might need. And we're going to come down onto our back. So just shuffling yourself down, maybe using the elbows. It's a little bit of a stopping point. Have a bend to the knees, the soles of the feet down. So we've got a nice flat back to the earth. Chin is gently tucked towards the chest, just closing the eyes. Finding the breath here. So if you want to begin your Shavasana nice and early, then you can. If not, just a couple more asana, and then we're in Shavasana. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, drop the knees open to either side. So finding our Supta Baddha Konasana, our reclined butterfly position. And if you need some support for underneath the thighs, you can. You could take the arms wide, you could take them overhead, you could have them on the body. So again, there's always so many options. You find the one that works best for you and your body. Eyes are closed. Nice steady breath. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, drop the left leg over onto the right. So keeping the upper body, the shoulder blades in touch with the earth, but finding our supine twist. And just really relaxing and surrendering into that. So you can always come back to a couple of those breaths we began with, where we're inhaling deeply through the nose, we're exhaling out of the mouth. Again, if there's a variation of your twist that you are working on or that you prefer, it could be twisted roots or extending that top leg, you're free to take that. As you inhale, just lifting that left leg away, knee up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, returning back to your butterfly position just for a couple of breaths there. When you're ready, as you exhale, dropping that right knee over this time. So you might need even just a little shuffle, just to get into a nice comfy position. If that right shoulder blade and shoulder is kind of lifted away from the earth in a really uncomfortable position, then maybe experiment with adjusting the knees or having a block between the knees or underneath that left thigh. So we still want to keep the chest and the heart space nice and open. Let's this time gently draw both of the knees and the gaze back to center. Bring them in towards the chest, holding onto the knees, maybe giving them a nice little squeeze in towards you. And then separating the knees out nice and wide, keeping them bent. Take a hold of behind the thighs, or perhaps inside, bring the arms inside the legs and reach for the big toe or the outer edge of the thigh as we move into our happy baby, Ananda Balasana. So really using whatever we've got hold of as that little pull down, sending the soles of the feet towards the sky, but with a nice heavy bend in the knees. So picking the option that feels right for you. Spine still nice and flat to the earth, chin in towards the chest. And you might even want to explore with this, so it can be nice to just shift the body from side to side. Maybe you want to lengthen out through the back of one leg, so just extending through the hamstring, maybe the other, maybe both. And if it feels okay for your back, if you've got no back issues, you can always explore just gently lifting the low back away from the earth. Eventually bringing the legs back together, just dropping the soles of the feet to the earth. Take a couple of breaths there. And then as always, if there's any way that you feel is appropriate for you to end the practice. So any other movement doesn't have to be labelled as a yoga asana. Then just taking this opportunity to do that. And then taking your time, we've got plenty of time to set up for your Shavasana. So popping layers back on if that's what you need. think one of the really nice things about being at home is that we can just get like loads of stuff for comfort. So grabbing cushions, blankets, pillows, and really making yourself nice and cozy. So almost like you're getting back into bed, or you're getting into bed after a long day. And you want to be in the ultimate position of rest. So I'm going to give you a little bit longer still just to find that position. And remember, there are options for Shavasana as well. So it could be lying on the back. You could take a bit more of a yin approach, pentacle, a bit more of a star shape. You could bend the knees and find constructive rest, or you could even lie on the side of the body, perhaps just padding out, having a cushion or something in between the thighs. That can feel quite nice. And once you think you have found that ultimate position of comfort, just scanning through the body. So either from head to toe or toe to head. Is there anything that might distract you? So, you know, that strand of hair, that piece of clothing, something, a prop maybe around the mat, the way your blanket is over you. Just taking a final moment to adjust anything that you need to. And then taking a nice big inhale and exhale. As you exhale, just feeling that wave of rest, of relaxation flow through the body. And then allowing that natural breath to take over. So your body breathing, you being breathed. And we're just going to take a little journey around the body, a little scan of the body to finish, to help us relax. So you don't have to do anything at all. Just listen, or even if you zone out, that's absolutely fine. Starting with the toes. So from the big toes all the way down to the baby toes. The sole of each foot. The top of each foot. The inner and outer ankles. The lower legs, front and back. The kneecaps and the backs of the knees. The upper legs, the front and the back. The bum cheeks. The lower spine. The middle spine. And the upper spine. Back of the neck. The back of the head. And the very top of the head. The forehead. The eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, the ears, and the top and bottom lip. The jaw and the throat space. The shoulders and the upper arms, front and back. The inner and the outer elbows. The front and the back of the low arms. The wrist. The back of the hands. The baby finger, all the way to the thumbs and the palm of the hand. Traveling all the way up the arms with our awareness. Into the collarbone. Down into the heart space. And then resting our awareness down into the belly with this soft breath. Just a natural inhale and exhale as we rest. So as always, you are free to stay exactly where you are. If you really need that extra bit of rest, if you've got time today, or maybe actually if you feel like you don't have time, then that's the best time to rest. Or if you are moving away from your Shavasana, doing so with as much care and attention as you approached any other part of the practice. So maybe just with a little wiggle of the fingers, the toes. And eventually rolling onto the side of the body, whichever side you feel drawn to. Keeping the eyes closed if you can, so savouring this peaceful place that hopefully we've created. Eventually gently pushing yourself up to find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. So it doesn't have to be Sukhasana. Just sitting nice and tall, so that lengthening up through the spine, the back of the neck, Softness of the face, the shoulders, a nice bit of softness to the belly. Bringing the hands to meet in our prayer and Jali Mudra at the heart space. Taking an inhale. And exhale, just gently bowing down. So a bow, a thank you to our own bodies, to our breath, to our minds. And of course, thanking each other for sharing our practice this morning. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your practice. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday. The light and dark within me honors the light and dark within you. Namaste.